Good morning. Still got a few minutes till noon. Well, we have successfully broke a tractor down. Got that done this morning. Couple things to note about that. I'm sitting here noting what the hell is on down there. Anyway, I know what that is. A couple things to note about that is that the hydraulic line that came off and went to the rear, that was the metal piece. We ended up having to take that off. With the shape of it and the way it curved and bent down, it kept hitting the housing on the transmission, and it wouldn't allow us to go ahead and separate them. The other thing is, these are 6-ton jack stands. When I did unbolt the frame, I kept having a problem with keeping everything level. The guy at the New Holland place did say that you'd be better off to have bottle jacks than jack stands, and I would have to say I would agree with that, just for the simple fact of being able to manipulate the frame the way you need to. This is a 3.5-ton Michelin floor, not that it was giving Michelin a plug, I've had the thing forever, floor jack that the front end's on. It's not supported by anything else at the moment. I do plan on putting some railroad ties under here just to be safe with it. And there's a bottle jack down here. I think I showed you guys before. A bottle jack down here under the transmission house. That's actually my grandfather's bottle jack. And my grandfather's pipe wrench back there, and my grandfather's bottle jack. So, miss that guy. He was pretty cool. Next thing we're going to do is dive into this transmission. Well, a couple of things I was looking at in here. These appear to me, in relation to, if you look at all the other bolts, are kind of older, they have a little bit of rust. These appear to be fairly new, which reinforces my current frame of mind that somebody's already been in this transmission, which again doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy, because of the fact that I think that there may be bigger issues in here than what I'd really like to think about. The other thing I will say is up here, this actually manipulates this bar in here, and this bar goes back and forth here in the shuttle that moves pins up and down, and that's what diverts hydraulic fluid and lets everything move, and yada 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 yada. Well, as you can tell, that thing is jam locked up at the moment. Won't do anything, won't move in any way. So, see what that's all about. One of the interesting thing is, I did find one of the old pins. I think I told you guys these pins cost like $18. That is it. That's an $18 pin right there. This is one of the used ones. I took it because the edges of it were kind of rounded off, and I didn't know if that was maybe the problem or what the deal was. Anyways, I'm feeling good about where we are right at the moment as far as getting this thing separated. Yeah. A lot of stuff to do. This is the torque converter came off. Again, torque converter looks like it may have some age on it, so that may very well be the heart of the problem. I'll show you guys something here. I know I've said before that there's this flex plate that hooks to the torque converter, that then hooks the torque converter to the flywheel. And this is the flex plate itself. And as you can see, it's got the 8 bolts that would hold it on there, and then the torque converter itself bolts to it as well. And I guess the point here is, this is like a safety margin between the torque converter and the flywheel. If things seriously go wrong, this would be kind of your fail piece here, which isn't a bad design. I mean, you'd rather tear up a I'm guessing that's not, well, again, we're dealing with heavy equipment, so, you know, I imagine it's more than $10. But I'm guessing it's not the most expensive piece between the three to replace. Other than that, that's kind of where we're at. I don't think there was anything else with getting them separated. The one thing I will tell you is one of the ways that I really did know that we were on track with keeping everything good, keeping everything level and ready to separate was, you know, there's some bolts that are up here and there's bolts that are down here. What I did was I took the bottom bolts out of the transmission first, and then tried to make sure between the bottle jack down here and the floor jack that I got everything manipulated just right, that once I had broken loose these bolts I could take them out by hand. Thinking behind that is if the bolts are loose enough that you can undo them by hand, there's not a lot of pressure being exerted on them, which means that everything's probably in a pretty straight path, which means you don't have a transmission that's going to fall lower than the engine or engine fall lower than transmission. So once I got the side bolts out, there was still, you know, the top bolts were not loose, but once I did that, I manipulated the jack a little bit more, and we're talking, you know, like 1/16 of an inch, eighth of an inch. We're not talking about any grand adjustments. And once I got to the point where everything was good and level, I was able to undo those top bolts by hand. And I will say this, that undoing the top bolts by hand, without having to use a wrench or a socket to gain traction on them to get them loose, at the point in time that I got the last bolt out, nothing moved, popped, sagged, anything like that. You know, it was just the last bolt came out, everything stayed exactly in place, nothing moved, and then we were able to just get on the tires and push on the tires of the front piece, with the exception of that hydraulic hose that, you know, kept hitting that we ended up having to take off. With the exception of that, everything came apart really easily. There was no, it was not a workout to get the front separate from the rear. Other than that, I think that's kind of where we're at. Unless I run across something extraordinary for today, that's probably the only update I'm going to do on it today. But I'm glad to be making progress. And again, you know, I had the flu, and that was horrible. Still get dizzy from staying here and talking to you and getting dizzy. But I'm glad to be able to come out here and work on this thing today. And God is good, and He is very good. Yeah. Anyways, Tabor City Home, my Tabor City Home. Please, if you would, go ahead and click on over there to the subscribe button, and give me a big thumbs up down there. Give me a like. Will you be the first person to subscribe to my channel if you did at this point? I don't have anybody subscribed on YouTube. Yeah, it's pitiful. I keep making these videos for nobody. Anyways, definition of insanity, I guess. Anyways, hey, you know, I looked all over YouTube and I could not find anything about a 1981 Ford 555 backhoe, and I have talked to so many people that, I mean, it's almost to the point where they walk away when they see me coming because they know I'm just going to bother the piss out of them about how to get this tractor separated and work on this transmission. You know, I didn't want anybody else to have to go through that. So I'm a big fan of YouTube. I said I would get in here and make some videos on how my experiences of doing this. I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong way. My experiences of doing this. Maybe the next guy who could watch this would have a little bit easier life doing it. Anyways, I appreciate it. My Tabor City Home. Give me a like and a subscribe. I appreciate it. You have a good day. Bye.